once again, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. That's right, I truly am. Welcome back, everybody, to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. So much happiness to be here today. That's our musical. Our music for today is brought to you by Damash and his or her or their song Arabico. Not sure what language that is, but I don't think it would relate to Hassan the Turban is off the camel. I don't think that's one of those today. So what is going on out there today? My God. Hope you guys are feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. It's a Thursday here in beautiful Los Angeles, California. What can I tell you? I can tell you that I think I need to pump up the volume a little bit on this puppy here. Let me check that out just a wee bit. Hold on to your horses. Yeah, that sounds a little better. Thank you. All right. What can I tell you? Like I said, it's a nice, beautiful Southern California day. It's going to get up into like the 90s here in West Hollywood. Most likely, I've heard reports of 110 in the valley. So if you're in the valley, drink lots of water. Don't go outside too long. Have the AC on. Go for a swim. Do something. Just keep yourself hydrated is what I'm saying. So, I said I wasn't going to talk about twerking anymore. But now I have to. You see, I have to because somebody was criticizing me recently, sarcastically about the importance of twerking, and they were being sarcastic about it because I was doing the show and talking about it quite a bit, and they were, a little pissy about it. So I decided I wasn't going to talk about twerking anymore. And then I saw this in the Los Angeles Times. Among other words, twerking will now be added to the Britain's Oxford dictionaries. Okay, along with 4 other words that you would probably not imagine you would see in the dictionary, but they will be there. Let's see. Among these, let me fix this here. That's starting to bother me now. Okay, let's go with that one. Yeah. Okay, now among these, besides, let's see, we have the term digital detox, which is actually 2 words if you're counting, but refers to exactly what you think it does, that we're spending so much time with our gadgets and online that we've had to embrace the terminology to associate with addicts, and thus we have to take extreme measures to walk away. It's spending time away from your computer, your iPad, your smartphone. It's just not being connected. Digital detox will now be in the British Oxford Dictionary. Also, Bitcoin, that's right. The stateless virtual currency that's nearly impossible to understand. Some of you people use this online. I have no idea what it's for. But it's going to be added as well. Let's see, selfie, which is the term that refers to the smartphone self-portraits that people take. Yes, exactly. It's basically, you know what you do with your friends, usually while driving and not paying attention to the road, where you take a picture of yourself driving, or maybe you're just like at a restaurant, or maybe you're doing whatever. You take a picture of yourself. It's called a selfie, and that's being added to the British Oxford Dictionary, as well as, of course, twerk. Yes, twerking. The silly dance move made popular recently by Miley Cyrus and, of course, by Latinas and black women for decades, as far as I'm concerned. Now, according to this, there's a quote here. There are many theories about the origin of this word, and since it's arose in an oral use, we may never know the answer for sure. But Oxford English Dictionary's Catherine Connor Martin told the Associated Press, "We think the most likely theory is that it is an altercation of work because that word has a history of being used in similar ways, with dancers being arranged to, quote, work it. The T would be a result of blending another word such as twist or twitch." So that is your twerking news for the day. I love it. So amongst other silly news today, now here's something. A lot of times people will get a special visa from the United States for athletes from other countries. Like if you happen to be, a particularly good, hockey player or runner or something along those lines, you'll get a special visa as a pro athlete to be allowed to work and live in the United States. They've now gone on and extended this to one Danny Lay, who is an online gamer. That's right. He's the very first online gamer to be extended the U.S. visa as a pro athlete because of some game that he plays, that League of Legends. It's a four-player game where teams play against each other on the internet, and apparently we're talking about prizes as high as $1 million for the winning team, and so. But the rules of the league say that team members must all be in the same room at the same time while playing on different computer consoles, but they must all be in the same room when they play. They can't play, over the internet, in another country. So he has been extended a visa, which of course should make football players and track stars feel oh so proud to be included amongst them. Speaking of athletes, LA will be hosting the 2015 Special Olympics, which will be the largest sporting event staged in the city since 1984, the Summer Olympics. It's too easy. I don't know if I want to make fun of this because it seems a little too easy to me, The 2015 Special Olympics World Summer Games will be the largest sporting event to hit Los Angeles since the 1984 Olympics. A logistical enterprise that seems impossible when you walk into the organizing committee's office downtown. But apparently in the next 2 years, a full-time staff of 160 and an estimated 30,000 volunteers will put on competitions throughout Los Angeles for more than 7,000 athletes and an event that will bring an estimated $415 million to the regional economy. Griffith Park will host golf. Hall of Los Angeles Convention Center will be converted into 5 stadiums for team handball, roller skating, and bocce ball. And then student dorms at USC and UCLA will become athletic villages. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of fucking retards. That's right, I said it. Fuck it. I said it. Bunch of fucking retards. Don't tell me you weren't thinking about it. There's going to be an extra 7,000 retards here in Los Angeles in 2015 for the summer. I don't know about you, but I would love to see Special Olympics handball. I would love to see that. Now, look, I know I'm making fun, and I know for a fact that a lot of these guys are like really way more athletic than I'll ever be, and these people are people that train hard all their lives. They work out. It's not like. It's not like the old Special Olympics when it was like, everybody gets a fucking medal and, it's like, you get a bunch of retarded kids and they're all just running around in circles. Whoever manages to cross the line is the winner, but everybody gets a medal, No, these are very competitive kids now. It's not like the old days. You can't make fun of it the way you used to, but I still can. Because I'm an asshole. That's why. Let's see. What else have I got here? Oh, this is something here that apparently somebody needed to make sure that we know about. According to this, going to the Los Angeles Times here, flyers traveling to Las Vegas spend more on drinks than passengers to other cities in the U.S. Wow, what a shock! Somebody did the research on this. According to them, according to the Los Angeles Times here. Travelers flying to Las Vegas don't wait until they touch ground to start their reveling. On the way to Sin City, the average plane-loaded passenger spends a total of about $116 for liquor, beer, and wine and soda, surpassing drink sales to any other of the lower 48 states. The only other states that where more money is spent in drinking are Hawaii and Alaska. But that's only because, they're so far. Okay, when you're going to Hawaii or Alaska, it's not like taking a jet to Des Moines. Okay, you're on that plane for a long fucking time, so you're going to be spending money on drinks. But apparently, even if you're flying from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, which is like an hour-long flight, hey, we are partying. Okay, I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm in a plane. I am loaded. Now, according to the same paper here, the spending drops quite a bit on the way back. from Las Vegas to wherever it is people are going, apparently, by about a good $50 per plane load, or actually more, from $116 to about $66 per plane load. That's what it goes down to. And one of the reasons they're citing for that is, people have spent a lot of money, they're kind of broke, they don't want to spend anymore. And I'm like thinking, no, they're fucking hung over, all right? On my way back from Vegas, my way back from my vacations in Cancun, I don't want to drink all that much either. I'll tell you that right now. It's got nothing to do with how much money I got in my fucking pocket. What's going on here? Now, before we move on any further, let's catch up on some celebrity birthdays. Let's start with August 28th. That'd be Wednesday. I'm going to do these as I go through the show during the breaks, okay? If your birthday was August 28th, you share a birthday with Jack Black, 44 years old. Shania Twain turned 48 years old. Leanne Rimes, more country, 31 years old. Billy Boyd is 45. Jason Priestley, my God, 90210 fame, is 48 years old. My God, Jason Priestley is old enough to be your dad. Daniel Stern is 56. I don't know if you remember Daniel Stern from the first two Home Alone movies. He played Marv, the really big, goofy dude. He was also the voice of the voiceover guy on The Wonder Years. Scott Hamilton, it turns 55, Olympics figure skater. Luis Guzman, one of my favorite actors, turns 57 years old. And the very funny, very voluptuous Jennifer Coolidge turns 52 years old. Luis Guzman turned 57, yes. Jennifer Coolidge, love Jennifer Coolidge. She, you may see her these days on Two Broke Girls and also from the American Pie movies as Stifler's mom. And this is one of those celebrities that I've actually had the pleasure of meeting. And she is like the sweetest fucking thing you're ever going to meet. Jennifer Coolidge is just so sweet, so cool, and as big as she looks on fucking TV. I mean, she is gigantic, all right? And she's not a dumb woman by any stretch of the imagination. The characters she plays. And she's even said, in interviews that it's much more fun and easier for her to play dumb than it is to play serious and intelligent characters because, she tries to do that and she'd be out of work, according to her. That's not me saying that. That's her. A really, really sweet woman. I used to work at a place and right around Christmas time, she gave me a tip of $50. Most people at the place where I was working, they don't tip anybody because I was working at front desk. But she dropped the 50 on me, and I was like, wow, that's really fucking cool. Jennifer Coolidge, high class act right there. What else have we got here that we might want to talk about really, really quickly? Do I have anything quick here? Well, yeah. No. Well, you know what? No. Let's just take our break early today, okay? And we'll come back so we can, really just dive into some other stuff. All right. Coming up next, we'll get more music by Dimash, Lo Strano Senso, and I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.
Sicuramente vorrai un tipo di poche parole, gentile solo se ci sei, che non conosce le volte che piangi quando non c'è lui. Ora paura non hai del tuo futuro perfetto. Ogni domanda ha già una risposta.
And we're back with more Joe the Shirts off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. That was Dimash, Lo Strano Senso. Don't know exactly what that means. Lo Strano Senso, strange sense. I'm not exactly sure. But let's catch up today now for yesterday's birthdays, August 29th. Let's see. If you shared a birthday on August 29th, you shared it with Elliot Gould, who turned 75 years old. Dante Bosco is 38 years old. Carl Banks, 57 years old, NFLer. Rebecca De Mornay is 54 years. Temple Grandin turned 66. You may remember Temple. She's a woman with some sort of mental disorder that has actually helped to develop new and better ways for caring of animals that are meant to be slaughtered, so that they're actually not scared and the meat actually tastes better for you. Richard Attenborough turns 90. You remember him as the old guy from the Jurassic Park movies. Robin Leach is 72, and I'm telling you, he looks like 102. He looks awful. And director Joel Schumacher is 74 years old yesterday. Now, here's one for you. The title of today's show, important news, Barbie doll makeover, ? No, they're still not planning on making over Barbie. She's still going to be, incredibly disproportionate in size, stature, breast size, head size, butt size, leg size, and even foot size. All right? They're not changing her. Now, the current round of Barbie bashing began after an artist, Nicolay Lamb, reimagined Barbie shaped like an average girl, meaning shorter, thicker, and more boring. And there's a picture of her here, actually. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of that and post it up for you guys to look at. And I'm looking at her. I'm looking at the picture, and yeah, she does look more like a real woman. She's heavier set. She's wider. She's got way bigger feet than the original Barbie. And she definitely has a big ass. As well as definitely as compared to the original Barbie, this one's got more of like a badonkadonk kind of butt going. It's like But the fact is, when you're a little girl, you want to play with Barbie. She's tall, she's beautiful, she's thin, she's long legs and little feet and big tits. That silly little American dream that all girls allegedly want to fit into. And I don't really think so. I don't think that all little girls, if you give them a Barbie doll, they all grow up wanting to be like Barbie. That's unrealistic. And I don't think that giving your kid a toy, will produce necessarily unrealistic expectations of themselves on themselves. I used to play with my He-Man Masters of the Universe toys. At no point did I ever imagine that I wanted to be so muscular that I looked like I needed to take a shit all the time. Okay, I never imagined that I wanted to be that muscular ever, but I do think I do know that it's sad that there are girls out there that do, become susceptible to this type of brainwashing. But you know what? Honestly, I'm guessing those girls were pretty much a little unstable to begin with. If they're affected by what a toy it represents to them. If you're affected by what a toy represents to you, then you have a lot more deeper issues that you need to address. And and if it wasn't the toy that fucked you up, it's going to be something else sooner or later anyway. Another thing that I have to say here is that looking at the alternate version of the Barbie here, the shorter, squattier, fatter ass Barbie here. If I met this woman in real life, I'd fuck her. Yeah, absolutely. But, I don't think little girls want to play with a doll that reminds them of their Aunt Rosie. Rosie's an attractive woman, she's in her 30s, she's pretty, she's got a nice shape, her butt's a little big, and she gets dates, but you don't want to have little fantasy trips to Vegas with your Aunt Rosie. You want to play with Barbie, God damn it. Let's see. It's according to the LA Times here. People that the designer had previously thought of as compassionate and fair were suddenly weighing in with unbridled Barbie barbs. Some stated proudly that they'd always hated her. Others quoted poisonous statistics about the impossibility of survival for someone shaped like her. Her inability to walk on those feet created for high heels, the lack of room in her abdomen for internal organs, the extra vertebrae it would require to create her peculiar neck, and the difficulty that neck would have supporting her gigantic head. Okay, yeah, granted, absolutely. Who doesn't know this already? And who cares all that much? I always find it funny that people keep protesting Barbie year after year. It happens like almost every year. Somebody's bitching about Barbie this, Barbie that, or every other generation. And you know what? It's still one of the number one selling toys in history. Okay? And there you have your crazy Barbie files out there. People, a lot of them gay men, who go around buying the special edition Barbies, like the Hawaii Barbie, the Spain Barbie, the rocket scientist Barbie. Oh, one of my favorites actually was this. This is a true story. I was when I was a kid. I went to the Toys R Us with my sister Sandra, and she wanted to get a Barbie doll. And I'm looking at the Barbie dolls with her, and they had one that was astronaut Barbie, and I'm like, wow, it was like astronaut Barbie, and they had the little flight suit there, and and the helmet, and I'm like, astronaut Barbie. And if anybody knows anything about an astronaut, you got to be really, really fucking smart to be an astronaut, okay? And then you had, right next to astronaut Barbie, you had talking Barbie. And one of those, I grabbed one, and I pulled the cord, and she starts to speak. And on one of the cord pulls, she goes, "Math is hard." And this is right next to the astronaut Barbie, and the irony was thick, man. I loved it. That's one of the funniest moments in my life, I thought. I'm like, wow, math is hard, but you're an astronaut. Okay. You know what? Fuck the naysayers. Much love to Barbie. You want to go play with a Barbie doll? Go ahead. You want to get fat Aunt Rosie doll? Go ahead as well. You know what? If you want to be more realistic, great. You know what? Give her a mortgage, 2 bratty kids, and a husband that doesn't appreciate her while you're at it as well. Okay? Speaking of dolls, you know those guys that go around twirling? I said twirling, not twerking. Twirling those signs for businesses. It's like, hey, eat here or buy your mortgage rates from here, and they're like twirling the signs and throwing them up, and they come up with all these dance moves with them. Well, that amazingly not a business that is above technology replacing them. Apparently, more and more stores are now using robotic dummies to do the exact same thing. Matter of fact, there's one example here. Angelica Fleming, who's the owner of a hair station plus salon in North Hollywood, poses with Ginger. And Ginger is a sign-waving mannequin dressed as in a Superwoman suit. So there she is. You have this Superwoman mannequin robotic doll shaking the sign, haircuts $10 and up, perms and highlights, hair color and makeup, with an arrow pointing at the store. And yet another classic American job goes down the toilet. My God. Actually, classic American jobs are big in the news right now. For those of you who keep saying that I don't talk about important things, how dare you? Now, I talked about this some time ago about people protesting fast food restaurants because they want more money. Well, hell, who the hell doesn't want more money? Fast food workers are not beyond this. There was originally strikes in New York, and now strikes have come to California and 60 other cities across the states. Let's see, fast food workers in an estimated 60 cities protested outside 1,000 stores, turning out the crack of dawn to call for union representatives and a wage. Are you ready for this now? $15 an hour, almost double what they're earning right now. Depending on where they work. Some places it is double. Here in Los Angeles, minimum wage is $8 an hour. And they are asking for $15 an hour. And I'm like, you know what? For $15 an hour, I'd work at McDonald's, okay? Now, the question is this really realistic? I mean, I understand the complaints. Believe me, I understand them very much. I mean, you think about it. Let's say the average McDonald's worker here in Los Angeles is making $8 an hour, and let's say they're making let's say they're working 40 hours a week, which is bullshit. The vast majority of these guys are part timers; they're not working 40 hours a week. And I'm putting in a full week's work, 40 hours, the traditional full week. But let's say they work 8 hours, they work $8 an hour, and they work 40 hours a week. that would mean that they would be getting, let's see, what's the math? They would be making $320 a week. $320 a week. So now we're talking about $1,280 a month. That's not a lot of money. When you consider that a cheap apartment here in Los Angeles is not $1,000, okay? God forbid you own a car, then you're talking, good, and depending on your drive, you could be spending, anywhere from $50 to $200 a month on gas. And if you have a cell phone, boom, there's another $50 to $80 a month, maybe more, depending. God forbid you have a kid, and God forbid you want to eat something other than McDonald's. You already don't have enough money. I mean, I haven't even included your monthly bills of like your electricity bill, your cable bill if you have one, your gas bill if you have one, your home phone bill if you have one. I mean, $1,280 isn't covering shit. I'm telling you that right now. But it's very unlikely that anybody is going to want to pay $15 an hour. Now, according to this, a South Los Angeles resident says he can't support his family on $8 an hour from his pay making his pizza from making pizza, order taking, and delivery at a Domino's. His boss won't give him full-time hours because of the looming health care changes. They don't want to pay for the insurance, he said, and they don't want to pay for the hours. So his rent is currently $800 a month. His utilities are $100, and the other costs spring up unexpectedly because he has a family. So yeah, there's no way he's not even working full time, which means that most likely his wife or maybe even a kid or two of his has to work as well. Now, it used to be that teenagers dominated this industry, and most of the time they'd work there for anywhere from a couple of months to a year or two max. While they were like saving money to go to college, or maybe saving money to go see a band somewhere, or just having some some weed money, some mad money, whatever, gas money. But now, and the fast food industry keeps asserting that, they don't want to pay this kind of money to a bunch of people that, are not going to want to hang out, mostly teenagers. But according to the most recent research from, the University of North Carolina, the median age for a fast food worker is 28 years old for women and 32 years old for men. 28 for women. 28 for men, 32 for women. So we're talking about people that are pretty much almost middle-aged, are in the fast food industry. That's their job more and more. That's who's dominating, your workers at McDonald's and Carl's Jr.'s and KFC. And these people, a lot of times will have families, will have debts. A lot of them have been downsized from their old jobs that did pay very well, Wall Street, Fortune 500 companies. Maybe they were an engineer, and maybe they were cutbacks. Maybe they, were technical directors over at some Hollywood studio. But now they're working at McDonald's. Now, it seems to me very unlikely that anybody's going to want to pay $15 an hour. Because the truth of the matter is, you can go ahead, demand $15 an hour if you really want to. But if you don't want to take the $8 they're giving you, they'll give it to somebody else. There's always going to be somebody that's willing to do your job for less, which is why right now these fast food workers are trying to unionize. So that way they'll have a little input, have a little power, a little stability in their lives, and are able to demand better pay, better working conditions, health insurance, life insurance, But the other flip side of that is going to be we will end up paying for it one way or the other because, do you really want to pay, $12 for your Happy Meal? Do you want to pay $8 for that Big Mac? You already do when you buy them at the airport, but imagine just going to your local KFC, and you want a two-piece meal with a biscuit, and they're asking you for $13. Are you going to want to pay that much? Even if it's not that much, even if say just an increase up to $10, that's a lot of money. $10 for $10, you can buy the stuff at the store and make yourself a meal at home for you and a family of 2 or 3, depending, So it is something. I don't see it happening for them. I wish them luck, but I also don't want to pay, $12 for my Happy Meal. I don't know. Maybe it's selfish of me. Anyway, it's time again for a break. And here's more Damash and his song, Dominica. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back.
Che staccare un po' la spina sia ideale, bevi a stento il tuo bicchiere così pieno per consolare te. Le canta, le canta, le canterà, le canta, le canta. Laureati e soddisfatti son felici i tuoi amici, ma il venerdì
and once again, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And before we get going with this, let's finish up today's celebrity birthdays. It's today, August 30th. Let's see, celebrity birthdays. If your birthday is August 30th, you share a birthday with Cameron Diaz is 41 years old. Trevor Jackson from the TV show Eureka is 17. Warren Buffett, billionaire, is 83 years old. Robert Parrish of the NBA is 60. You remember him from the Celtics. I love when I blank out like that. Comic book legend Robert Crumb, it turns 70. Michael Chiklis is 50 years old. You remember him now as the Thing from the Fantastic Four movies. Louis Black, funny comedian, is 65 years old. Jim Miller of the UFC is 30. And one David Paymer is 59 years old. David Paymer, well-known actor who has been working consistently, my God, since like the 60s. Just funny, odd-looking little guy. I can't even rattle off how many movies he's been in. He's almost never the star of a movie. He's always that quirky, weird guy in the background, but you would know him if you saw him. Now, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, yes. Apparently, they're finding a link in people's tempers and temperatures. According to UC Berkeley economists, analyzed 60 studies on climate change and world conflict and concluded that civilians would grow more violent as a result of global warming. Let's see, in the United States, researchers use weather reports and Major League Baseball statistics to see whether pitchers throw more beanballs at batters when it's hot. Oh my God, that's hysterical. In Phoenix, researchers hold up traffic at intersections in cool and hot weather to see whether motorists honk in anger. That's going on right now, as was the other study. Let's see, and they're just researchers in Australia use weather reports and domestic violence calls to police Brisbane to see whether they are more frequent in hot weather. So basically what they're saying is that the hotter it gets, the more likely it is you are to get pissed off, beat your wife, throw a beanball at somebody, or honk your horn, in anger, road raging. Now, here's a story I tried doing a couple of weeks ago, but the show did not air because of some technical difficulties. Roller coasters have a one-size-meets-all problem, especially when it comes to the physically handicapped, the overweight, and amputees. Now, what's going on here is recently there was a news report about a woman who fell to her death from a Texas roller coaster that suggested that her girth may have played a role in this. The accident followed one in 2011 in which an Army veteran had lost both his legs fighting in Iraq plummeted to his death from a New York roller coaster. Now, at the risk of sounding incredibly insensitive, if you don't have legs, you shouldn't get on a roller coaster. You need something for that iron bar to hold onto, and if you don't have legs, you don't get to go on the loop-de-loop. That's what I'm saying to you. And by the way, if you are incredibly fat and you don't fit into the seat and the iron bar can't come down, then you don't get to ride the ride. And no, they're not going to build bigger seats with bigger bars just for your fat ass and just throw off the entire equilibrium of the ride for you. No, it's not happening. It's possible to do it on an airplane? Yes, it is. Is it possible to do it in a car? Yes, it is. In chairs in restaurants? Sure, it's possible. But the sheer economics and engineering hurdles to go through to accommodate a big fat fuck or an amputee it's just, you have to accept there's some things that you cannot do. Okay, you can't do it. I cannot be a basketball player for the NBA. I can't do it. I'm short, I'm slow, I'm middle-aged. I cannot do it. I accept that. There's a reason that they're not having open tryouts so that, middle-aged idiots like me just don't show up. All right? I feel sorry for you guys. I really do. But you have to accept there's some things you can't do. You can't get on the loop-de-loop. You can't get on the Superman the Ride thing, You get to ride the teacups. You get to ride the merry-go-round, You have to accept that. Just like people in wheelchairs have to accept that they are not going to carve out the best seating right in the middle of the theater to accommodate you in your wheelchair. Not happening. Erg. Now, been talking about prison a lot lately, and I want to talk a little bit more about it because this affects my home state here, California. Governor Jerry Brown has been ordered by the federal government, judge actually, to release 9,600 inmates from the state prison facilities due to overcrowding. Lawsuits have been brought against the state, and a judge has decided that, they're right. It is unconstitutional to keep this many people overcrowded in your prisons for these extended amount of times. You got to get rid of some of these folks. And Jerry Brown is saying, no, we have to protect the public, and we have to do it for their safety. So we're going to do everything we can to keep these people inside. And now, what's being proposed here is that you don't just release anybody willy-nilly. Let's say you release people that wouldn't be a big deal. For instance, Don Spector, a lawyer for the inmates, proposed, maybe we could consider some early releases by expanding the credit prisoners can earn for good behavior, or for freeing the elderly or sick inmates, or maybe those that committed very small, non-violent crimes. Maybe there was pot possession. Maybe you were found with an ounce of weed on you. It was like, let's let him go early. He's got what, a month left to go? Let him go. Or maybe it's somebody. Maybe it was just a pot dealer. He got busted trying to sell a half a pound of weed. Okay, he's not violent. He's not hurting anybody. Why let him go? Maybe it's a DUI case. But he didn't hurt anybody. He just blew over the limit, and he's doing jail time. He got 4 months in there. Maybe let him go. Or maybe he got a year. Maybe he got the maximum. Let him go. He's got 6 months left to go. Let him go. That's what they're proposing here, or the sick, or the elderly, or people that were going to be let out soon anyway. But no. Not only does Jerry Brown not want to do this, he wants to take $315 million of the $1.1 billion reserve budget to pay to put prisoners in outside facilities, in private facilities, in facilities outside of California. He's proposing that he take about 1,000 prisoners and move them over to private prisons and prisons outside of California, and that's going to cost for this coming year $315 million, and then another $415 million for the 2 years after that. That's $415 million each year. So right now we're talking about approximately $1.1 billion that Jerry Brown wants to spend to keep nonviolent, sick, elderly prison inmates in prison because he doesn't want to let them out early and he wants to protect the public. I think he's full of shit. You're going to tell me that this money can't be used for other things. I mean, at the pace that he's intending to spend money spent to keep nonviolent, sick, elderly prisoners in prison will outpace the money that's going to be spent on education. I mean, who finds that acceptable exactly? It's ridiculous to me. But he keeps insisting that it's for the public safety. Now, let's add another wrinkle to this. Not only is he proposing that they start hiring private prisons to do this, but in a really weird twist of fate here, the prison guards union is not opposing this. Now, normally the prison guards union doesn't like the idea of sending work out to other cities, other facilities where they are not able to do the guarding themselves and make the money themselves. So Governor Brown's proposal for this, well, yes, we're sending the prisoners to private facilities, but we're going to be using our prison guards to guard them there, which means that somehow somebody's got to pay for the normal prison guards in these private facilities who are going to be out of work. Where do you think that money's going to come from exactly? It's a bad plan, Jerry. I don't like it. I think it's about time we, it's time we decriminalized pot, and just get over this shit, man. Let these people go, all right? These small-time dealers, these small-time possessions of weed, these people that are going to be getting out soon anyway, but you want to make them serve their full sentence, let them go, man. And this is only a proposal for 1,000 inmates. That still doesn't solve the problem of the 8,600 others that are still in there that Jerry Brown is planning on fighting the court order with. He still has to account for these somehow. And I have not seen a plan brought up for this just yet. Let's see, what else have we got here? And one more thing to do with what's going on in prisons, or not in prison, actually. You may have heard about this. A Montana judge has come under fire after handing down a 30-day sentence to a former high school teacher convicted of raping a 14-year-old student. I love this. Okay, now what happened here? This occurred in Billings, Montana, where the girl committed suicide in 2010. She was just shy of her 17th birthday as the criminal case was proceeding. Protest was planned for today. Organizers have called for Montana District Judge G. Todd Bow to resign. The uproar began Monday when Bow sentenced Stacy Dean Ramble, 54 years old, to 15 years in prison on one count of sexual intercourse without consent, but then suspended all but 31 days and gave him credit for 1 day served. Prosecutors had been looking for 20 years in prison with 10 years suspended. But this guy decided he's going to suspend 15 years of it, gave him 15 years, suspended 15, gave him 1 for time served, and 30 and only a 30-day sentence. Now, according to him here, he thought the girl had been as much in control of the situation as the defendant. The girl's mother, Aaliyah Hanlon, was in the courtroom and screamed at the judge before storming out. According to this, they believe that the girl was 14 years old, but she was much older than her chronological age and had participated willingly in what was going on. He described it, this wasn't a forcible, violent rape. This was consensual. Of course, in the state of Montana, a 14-year-old cannot give consent. So by definition, it is rape, and that's a story I'm going to want to look at a little bit more. But in the meanwhile, that's it for me, man. Thank you for listening. I'm going to come out of here with more Dimash and his song Casa del Vino. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. See you next time.